Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new to my channel, please like, subscribe, and share it. So let's get started for today's topics. And if you're able to see that I have created a mini playlist, so you can go through it. So let's come back to our day two session. So before going to the session, so if you're the beginner, make sure uh, installation of the Terraform on the machine where you are going to run your AWS project. So do not forget, always check the version before starting any of the project. So make sure that you need to verify the versions and you should know how to install the Terraform. So if you are come back to day one, what we have discussed, what is Terraform, why DevOps engineers use Terraform, real world examples, Terraform versus a manual AWS, Terraform versus CloudFormation. What is CloudFormation? What is Terraform? Uh, which one should we learn it? How to install the Terraform on Windows servers, Linux servers. We have gone through previous topic. So today let's talk about IAM setup. So how we can able to integrate the Terraform. So we are going to set up the IAM. So what we are going to do in AWS, the root account has the full access. So using the root for the Terraform or automation is very dangerous. So we create a separate IAM user for the Terraform with the only required permission. So this improves the security, follows the AWS best practices. So let's go to the AWS console. Let's come back to IAM. So I'm going to open it in a new tab. So make sure that create a users, create a user. I'm going to call it as a Terraform user, and I'm going to use attach existing policy. So as of now, I'm going to use it to administrator, but in the productions environment, do not use administrator access. Which resource you wanted to create it, only those specific resource. Okay, you can select it under E. For example, EC2 full access, you can just search it out. AWS full access, you will get it. So as of now, I'm going to take it administrator access and I'm going to create the user. So once we created the user, let's go inside the user. So we need a secret key and access key, okay, to communicate with the AWS to our Terraform, okay. So there is an access key, okay. So let's go to create access key. Just select the command line interfaces and acknowledge it. Next, and create the access key. You will get the secret key access key, okay. So you can just download it. You can keep it somewhere, okay. So now what we have done it, we have created the IAM user, we have attached the policy, everything. So now we wanted to configure the AWS CLI to communicate with our AWS. So let's go to EC2 console. So as of now, what I'm going to do it, I'm not going to use it my own laptop. I'm going to create the one of the server from the AWS console. So you can call it as a jump server. So I'll make it as a Terraform server and I'm going to use it Windows server. And if you wanted to use it your own laptop, that is also fine. And I'm going to use it latest image. Let's select it at least 8 GB. And let me select the test key pair. Let me use it 50 GB and launch the instance. So before going to the AWS CLI configurations, we wanted to install the some uh, uh, services. You can call it as our uh, setup. Okay. So now for this session, I'm going to use the ID called Visual Studio Code. So Visual Studio Code used for the to write the code. So I'm going to use the Visual Studio Code. and how we can able to communicate with the uh, uh, AWS. I'm going to talk about. So let it finish it. And in the meantime, let's go to the Terraform documentation. So if you're able to see it, there is a registry. Okay, make sure that go to that registry and you can able to see that. I'm going to talk about what is this all. So in the meantime, let's select the connect. I'm going to use it RDP. Let's get the password. So it will take 4 minutes time. Let's wait for. So let me try it one more time. Okay. So I'm going to use it. Test key pair and let's decrypt. Let's download the MST file and let's copy the password here. So for the best practices, always store the keys securely. So never commit them to any GitHub. Okay. So IAM users instead of the root and give the minimum required permission I told you in the production environment. So why root account should not be used means production environment, it is going to be impacted. So let's open the any of the browser, start without your data. So what I'm trying to do, I'm going to just download the Visual Studio Code, type it Visual Studio. So why I'm using, let me show it you why I'm using only Visual Studio Code. Any other, there is a lot of Visual Studio Codes are there. You can use it anyone, but uh, this I'm using from the long time. Eh, Okay, the first one you can select it and download it. So let it download it. In the meantime, let's use the chocolatey. So for previous session, I told you why we are using a chocolatey. This is for the Windows Package Manager. Okay, let's go to that install. In the meantime, just open the PowerShell command prompt. Let's use it run as administrator. Just copy it. Okay. So let me install the chocolatey first. In the meantime, I'm going to install it Visual Studio Code also. Let's accept it. Let it install it. Let's go back to chocolate again. Let's select the community because we need to install the two packages here. One is for Terraform, other one is AWS CLI. Find the packages, just accept. So you can just type it here also, AWS CLI. Okay. So it shows, just copy and install it. Let's copy. Okay. So chocolate it is already installed. Let's install the AWS CLI. The meantime, we can download it Terraform also. So no need to remember all these commands. It is available in the official documentation. You can get it there. So you need to just make sure that yes, you need to hit enter so that it will run the script. So let it run. So let it install it. In the meantime, let's create a folder in the desktop. The folder name I will call it as a Terraform. You can open it Visual Studio Code from here. Open with Visual Studio Code so that it will open on the specific folder. Okay. So AWS CLI is installed. Let's install the Terraform also. So in the meantime, let's go to that official documentation. Okay. So everything, Terraform, everything is installed. Okay. Now what we are trying to do, we are going to create the AWS resources. So I'm going to create the EC2 using the Terraform. Okay. So if you are new to Terraform, okay, so always you should depends on the official documentation of Terraform. Okay. So from here, you need to select registry. It will take it to providers or modules. Okay, there is a official page called registry. So there is a browse providers. Browse providers means you will get all the providers. For example, AWS, Azure, Google, Kubernetes, everything it will be available. Okay. So according to your requirement, you need to just select the your providers. I'm going to use it my own provider, AWS, and here you can just select the documentation. So you can able to see it here. There is a multiple resource you can able to see it. All the AWS resource it is available. So you need to select it which one you are going to create it. Okay. And here if you come down, so here they have given the already example how we can able to create the resource. Okay. If you are able to see it here, they have given it how to create the VPC. Okay. So before creating the VPC from the code, you should know how to create the VPC from the AWS console. Okay, let's go to that VPC section here. So whenever you are doing any resource creations, you should know manual stuff from the AWS console. Then only you will get to know what is the code I need to return it. So that you will get to know what all the steps it will come. Okay, what is mandatory. Okay, all those things it will come. Okay, for example, let's go to here. Okay, let's go to here. Mm, I'm going to select it here. Documentation. Let's create a VPC from the AWS console, right? Okay, so here there is only one VPC. So let's create a single VPC. So we can type it my VPC. So what is mandatory here? So name is the optional. Mandatory is set range. IPv4 should be the mandatory. Okay, without this, it will not create it. So remaining things you can make it default and create the VPC. Okay, same thing here also. We have created the VPC, right? Manually. So how to create it in the using the Terraform code. Okay. So in the meantime, so we need to install the some extension. Okay. So there is an extension called Terraform. So you need to select Ashikarpon. Okay, fine. Okay, that's fine. So now the extension we have installed it. Why we are using extension means, so whenever you are going to write a code, it will give the automatic inputs. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, let's create the providers first. Okay, so here if you're able to see it, these version, these are, this is a version for the Terraform, and here is a provider can be changed, many providers, it can be Azure, Google Cloud, anything. Okay, so let's go to here, copy it and come to here. Just create a file called provider.tf. This is mandatory, should be there. Okay. So if I am created a here, okay. Now you can go to file section, make it auto save so that no need to create it. And now I wanted to create the resource, right? So let's go to here. I'm going to create a resource here. I'm going to explain it. What is this later? I'll just make it as a 24. Okay. So now I'm trying to create the resource. Okay. So we have created a IAM user, right? Okay. Let's wait for here Terraform init. So if you are not configured that access is key, secret key, what is the error we are getting? We'll get in. So let's initialize it first. So whatever we have mentioned the version, that is going to be install it. Okay. So make sure that this is very mandatory. I'm going to talk about how we can able to upgrade from 5.0 to 6.0, 5.1 to 3, minor changes, major changes, how we can able to do it. I'm going to talk about in the separate session. Okay. So now Terraform apply. If you type it, you will get the error because we are not integrated with the AWS, right? So it is trying to create it, but it will check that. See here, what is that it is saying? No valid credentials source found. Okay. Now AWS configure it will it will asking, it is going to be asked. Okay. Okay, let's close this once. PowerShell. Just type it here. Okay. Both the side also we can able to configure it. That's fine. Let's configure it. So it is asking for the access key. Let's go to here. Just copy the access key and secret key. And it will ask for the region. Let's copy the region and enter it. So just close it. Again, open the Visual Studio Code. Show more. Now let's try to reinitiate it. Just type it Terraform apply. So now it will not ask any credential error. Okay. I'm going to just make it as, let's go to AWS console and verify it. We can able to see the one more VPC. See what is the range I have given? 24. And I have not given any name. Okay. So name is not mandatory from the Terraform, but best practice we should use the name, tags, everything. Okay. So now I wanted to delete it. Okay. Just use a command called destroy. So let me show the all the commands one more time here. Let's destroy it. And manually, which is the one I have created, I'm going to delete here also. Okay. So just go and refresh it. So which is a from Terraform we have created a piece, right? That is also it is deleted. Okay. So now next what we can able to do it. So before going to create any resource, I'm going to show the architecture diagram of Terraform. So you are the user, you are going to install the Terraform CLI and you need to plan it. So how a resource to be created, you can able to plan it, apply it. That is for the any of the providers. Okay, anything. And one more is the syntax, Terraform language syntax. Okay, let's copy this one. Let's go to here. So what is this? It will do. Okay, so you should know what is this exactly. How we can able to create it our own resources, right? So let me see it. Let me explain it this one so that you will get to know. Okay. So now if you're able to see it, a resource, AWS VPC and main and cider blocks here mentioned. Okay. So this is exactly the same. Okay. So let me remove this one. I'll keep it data here. So when you are going to create any resource, you should write it down black type. So what is this black type? So if you're able to see it in the below, I have given one more example here. Black type means which resource you are going to create it. Okay. So the resource you are going to create it. Okay. For example, you are going to create any other variables. Then variable should be comes in the block type. Okay. So now we are going to create the resource. That is the reason we have mentioned here resource. If it is variables, any other input, everything it will come other. Next is block label. This we call it as a first block label. So that means what we are trying to create it. We are going to create the AWS VPC. And the second label, if you're able to see it, this is a main. Okay, you can mention it any of the name that is depends on your requirement to identification. And identifier, so what is the cider block? Okay, if you're creating any of the cider block, that is one. And expression, you need to mention it. It can be variables or you can directly you can mention the cider range also. Okay, so this is mandatory. This 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 you should know before creating any of the resources. And same thing here, I mentioned resource, AWS VPC, same thing I have written in the here. If you're able to see it, see resource, AWS VPC, I can give it any name, that is fine. And cider black, and here is a cider black IP address. Okay. So this is all about how we can able to identify the resources. Okay. Now what I'm going to do, so let's create the EC2 using the Terraform. So we have integrated with the AWS to Terraform also. Okay, now we wanted to create the EC2. So in this video, what I'm going to do, we will create the EC2 instance using the Terraform. So let's explain the official documentation to create the shared credential. Explain. I'm going to explain it one more time. I mean, in the official web page. So here, I think I showed you. So there is a multiple way authentication configuration pattern parameter you can able to use it, environment variables, shared and shared configuration, container credential. These are all the where I mean different credential type we can able to configure it in the Terraform side. And example also they have given it here. Okay, you can follow this to set up the your credential. Okay, and for example, so why I'm in the second topic only I'm going to talk about these are all things means. So I'm not going to use it multiple times for the official pages to create the resource. Okay. So as of now, I wanted to create the EC2, right? So if you type it EC2 under here, there is a resource. Okay. If you come down here, if you wanted to create the EC2, it will mention AWS instance. So this is already given the example. Okay. So what I'm going to do, so example they have given it here. Okay. Right side you can able to see it argument reference attribute. This is input and this is the output you can refer it. So you can just copy this entire code. Okay. And paste it here. Okay. So nothing to do it anything. Just Terraform init first command you should know to initialize the directory. Okay. Let me type it Terra. So just type it. So you'll see that all the commands you can able to see it here. Okay. Let me, okay. So the main commands you should always know it at least as a DevOps engineer. Terraform init. Okay. This is going to be prepare the your working directory, validate the configuration, plan the what are the current configurations, and it is going to be create the infrastructure. It is going to be deleted. So there is a multiple other commands also it is available. We can able to use it later. Okay, main four command you should know. Okay, so now Terraform, so we are already initiated it. Okay, that is not a problem, you can initiate it one more time. So I'm going to do it. Okay, now Terraform plan, sorry, we need to do it one more command, right? What is it? Okay, validate, that's it. So if I type it plan also, see it is going to show us plus where all it is showing, this is going to be create the resource. If it is minus, that is going to be deleted. Okay. So you can just type it. So before applying Terraform, validate. Check the configuration validate. So it will show us everything is correct or not. Okay. Now I'm going to Terraform apply. Okay, let it come. Let's go to EC2 section. So we have only one machine, right? One EC2 instance running on the AWS console. Okay, there is only one. Okay, let's go back to here. So here it is already asking for the it should be created or it should be declined. Yes means it is going to be accepted. So you can just go back to the AWS console manually. You can able to verify it. Okay. So in the production environment, some companies they're not going to allow the your AWS console also. So this is for the before going to production or testing, you should know how we can able to create it manually from the AWS and command line also. So it is initializing, let it initialize. So here it is already mentioned, it is already created. So now if you want Terraform, delete, sorry, destroy. So this is the simple way to create the resources. Okay. So next topic, I'm going to talk about providers details, main .tf file creation, variables files creations, output .tf files creation. That is I'm going to talk about. So let it. So I can just verify it. It is already shutdowning. Okay. So this is all about today's topic. Again, I'll come up with the next continuous session. I'm going to bring it. So tomorrow we'll talk about in depth how we can able to use providers main variables. Okay. So till that you can watch this session. If you have any doubts, let me know. Okay. Thanks everyone. Bye bye.